Hey, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back. All right. A couple things. Let's. We got 600 people back in the room. We'll see how many we get back. We had about 1,122, I believe, in the early monologue. For those of you who caught that, thank you, and for those of you who came back. Now, um, that rant is going to connect with people in different ways, and I want to be clear about a few things. One, have we talked about med beds here? Yes. Have I ever said that they're absolutely happening? No, absolutely not. Do we talk about them because with this new existence that we are stepping into, um, do I believe things are going to be released to the public that have never been released before? I do, because we're going to be a part of releasing it. But we have to engage in this process. Have we talked about Nassar Jassar? Yes. Have I told you that I've been waiting for it for 12 years? Yes. And it hasn't come yet. And that it is actually a you know, it makes you impotent by waiting for something to come. It makes you impotent from being able to act on your own. And that's what I'm trying to get around. That's what I'm trying to let everybody know. Do I believe that we're stepping into a whole new world? I do. I really do. But we have to take the step. We're the ones that have to hold hands and take that step together. That's the message here. People are like, "Oh, you're angry." Yeah, I'm angry. People are dying. So is this a show? Is Biden the president? No, I don't believe Biden's president. I don't believe. There's so much that is a show. But the one thing that really concerns me that I don't think is a show is the people that are dying from these jabs. Because those are actual injections that are being forced upon us by our medical establishment. Do I think it's a show to wake people up? Yeah. How do people wake up from war? They experience war. Their son or daughter goes off to war and doesn't come back, or their uncle or their cousin. And they experience war firsthand. And then they say, we've got to stop these wars. That's how you get through to somebody. Wars are bad, is you have casualties. We must experience the things in order for us to want to change them. What bothers me, Dave, is the power they have. It's the power we've given them. Thank you, D. Yeah, and we're in World War III right now. Yeah, we can't make it easy. Yeah, I don't think the murders are speculative. No, unfortunately. Right? Yeah, ask the Kentuckians, by the way, okay, about weather modification. Okay? We've exposed all these different areas of our society, and yet we haven't exposed to the level we need to the weather modification. Are people in Kentucky going to finally say, how long has Todd been talking about the past couple weeks? He's been showing on his Facebook page the cloud seeding. Folks, I've been talking about chemtrails for 15 years. People think I'm nuts. But it's weather modification. It's cloud seeding. The things that you saw this weekend happen across the United States, 30 tornadoes in temperatures that weren't, warm enough to be tornado temperatures, that's weather modification. It's stressful and real scary. People are dying. Casualties, absolutely. And people think I'm too angry? Folks, if you're not getting angry now, you never will be. If you don't justify anger now, when will you ever justify anger? When will you ever justify anger? Open YouTube, you aren't on it. Did they cut me off? Linda? Let me see. You guys can go there with me. See, each time I go to YouTube, I got to type in my name because they can't know it's me. Otherwise, I'll get a note that says you've been denied service. All right, so part 2 is there. Hold the Line Tuesday is there. So we're on. Maybe they're kicking you off for, because that's what they do on Facebook all the time, by the way. So you see, my subscribers, my viewership has all been messed with. Okay? Folks, if you go to a YouTube channel and there are hundreds of thousands of subscribers, question the information you're getting. That's all I have to say. Okay? Because the real information, the people are fighting censorship left and right. Yeah, Bill, they're deaths by wrong protocols. The remdesivir, the ventilators. We're seeing these deaths, folks. We're losing our friends and family to these, to what's going on. So is it a movie that we need to see? Yeah, but there are real casualties. So this is, if you can't justify anger when they're coming after our children, I'm not for you. That's all I got to say. And by the way, I saw the comment by Emily Pound. I want to say Emily has been a listener for a long time, but at the same time, just because you're a listener for a long time, why would you say fuck the Healy? That's helping people. Just like taking off your shoes and walking in the dirt will help people. Just like surrounding yourself with musical frequency will help you. Just like humming and getting vibration through your body, getting frequency through your body will help you. But I think the problem that people had was your negativity towards something that is legitimately helping people. So I think the comment was fuck you and your Healy. And so, that's the kind of feedback you're going to get because people are loyal to me and they're going to stand up for me, right? Yeah, a lot of people are angry, and justifiably so. Justifiably so, right? Yeah, it's an opinion. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. But when you're angry and about something that is really helping people, like it's like you're messing with somebody else's thing, right? You're throwing that off, and it's something that's real. So our opinions need to be educated opinions as well, right? Yeah, Wally, definitely reach out to Amy and go to the calls, please. Saturday morning, you'll get a lot out of it, and also the Telegram channels, right? Are you angry at Trump, David? Yes, yeah, absolutely. And I've shared this, Elizabeth. I'm angry that he was pushing the jab, because in all his last interviews, he was saying the jab. talking about saying the jab is safe. I was angry at Joe Rogan, guys, for saying the jab was safe. You heard me. I went off on Joe Rogan for that. I went off on Trump for that. But do I think Joe Rogan has helped a lot of people because he took ivermectin and talked about it? Absolutely. Absolutely. I want to give the guy a hug, okay? Because his strength in standing up for that saved tens of thousands possibly of people, making them aware of ivermectin and also making them aware of how CNN is the enemy in that regard. Was I angry at Trump? Yes. Do I think Trump's helped a lot of people? Absolutely. But to me, folks, you're going to lose me if you think that these jabs. Let me see. So Rick's saying you still can't see our chat on YouTube. Let me go there now. Let me see what's going on. So Rick's saying you still can't see our chat on YouTube. Let me see. Let me go there. Thank you, Rick. Rick, I don't know if it's because we restarted. I don't know how to refresh the chat. Other than you guys can see your chat right here, like I did earlier. But I won't be doing that. You can see it. Some of you can see it. Okay, so Rick, maybe you need to refresh, bud. YouTube chat is fine. All good. Okay, thank you guys for that feedback. And Rick, thanks for looking out for that as well. Yeah, so we just have to get across to people that this is all about genocide. And we have to guard ourselves against it, okay? Thank you, my friends. We are back to 1168. So we have now more than we had. So welcome back. Welcome home, my friends. And I'm looking forward to, I hope you shared that out. I think it was important, and we need to spread this word. My friends, they don't want to know Tuesday. I had it as another title, Hold the Line, because that was also the original that was up there. J6 actually, Hold the Line. But J6, Hold the Line, Patriots, the truth will set you free, drops, deltas, decodes, and much more. Show contributors Jen Davis, Nancy Sutherland, Trump at 17, which, by the way, Nancy's feeling better. And all the best to George. Heal quickly, my friend. Greta Dice, Brenda Kung, Rick Duplantis, Christy Kilburn, Scott Harley, Jim Rice, Judy Harden. Thank you for your contributions to tonight's show. Trump, there's a copyright issue, so I can't play this, but you can play it, and it goes to the song of Run, Rudolph, Run. And so I don't want to lose the YouTube or the Facebook channel, so I won't play that, but that's for you to do. And by the way, folks, all you have to do at any time, go to theindoctrination.com, go to, Rob has since changed. You have the podcast, you have show notes and hot zones separate. The hot zones where you'll find your resource file to how to deal with work, how to deal with mask mandates, how to deal with vax mandates, and so forth. Also, the Arizona audit, interesting information, going dark numbers. And then the show notes are here, and you can click on those, and you can see. Now, are they up here yet? And Rob, we just need to make sure that the most recent goes to the top. So it looks like it's not up yet on this. So, Barbara, if you can get together with Rob and coordinate that, I appreciate that. And while I'm over here, let me get my USB up here. Okay. So let's get back to the show notes, my friends. This is what's going on with the Trump media group has made an announcement that they are partnering with Rumble. Now, this is great news for a couple reasons. One, we're already on Rumble. but also they understand that they don't need to reinvent the wheel, right? Okay, so they're realizing that I need to be more centered here. They realize that they don't need to reinvent the wheel. That Rumble already has a video player up, so let's go with that. Okay. A wide-ranging technology and cloud services agreement with Rumble Inc. As part of a partnership, Rumble will deliver video and streaming for Truth Social. TMTG and Rumble are also in exclusive negotiations for Rumble to provide infrastructure and video delivery services for subscription video on demand product. President Donald J. Trump, chairman of this group, commented, as part of our mission, TMTG continues to align with service providers who do not discriminate against political ideology. Therefore, I have selected the Rumble Cloud to serve as a critical backbone for TMTG infrastructure. TMTG has already launched Truth Social on the Rumble Cloud for invited guests only, and the initial beta launch has been excellent. America is ready for Truth Social and the end to cancel culture. Okay. Chris Pavlovski, the founder and chief executive officer of Rumble, said Rumble is excited. Let me go in a little bit. Sorry, went the wrong way. Rumble is excited to provide technology and cloud services. We continue to build the infrastructure to deliver a free, open internet. Rumble was designed to be immune to cancel culture, and we are at the forefront of a movement that believes everyone benefits from access to a neutral platform that hosts diverse ideas and opinions. My friends, we are live on Rumble right now. I ask you to please go and check that out. You will find us at the IndoctriNATION. Here we go. Let me just pull this up so you can find me. Let me go to, let me see, account, my content here. Tuesday live show, the IndoctriNATION, that was already up. So you'll see the live show. Now this should be live right now, but I may had to go back in and do another download, which I did not do. So hit me up with if we do have trolls, Dixie. I can handle it from here. So if you would just email me who the trolls are. If it's coming from you, Dixie, I know it's solid, and some of the other mods too. So that's great news, folks, because that is really going to be a big deal. And oh, by the way, we are also working on our network which is Truthcast Media, TCM. So we'll give you share more information on that as time comes. My friends, Liz Cheney's big donors are basically the Lincoln Project, which is a progressive movement that are deep into child pedophilia, basically. A lot of the owners that are a part of that are, bad people. Ron Conway, a top donor to the Lincoln Project, gave Cheney and related campaign committees $21,600. Billionaire John Pritzker was given at least $100,000 to the Lincoln Project. Also gave Cheney $21,000. As Cheney faces a competitive primary from Trump-endorsed attorney Harriet Hageman next year, 3 more prime billionaire donors of Lincoln Project also jumped in to help fund Cheney's reelection battle, including Martha Karsh, Stephen Mandel, and Christy Walton. And so just be on the lookout for this, folks. Be aware that Liz Cheney is bad news, just like her father was. And even though she's a Republican from Wyoming, she's been censured from the Republican Party in Wyoming. And she is not our friend. She is a Republican in name only, which is why they call them rhinos. Okay. Some good news in the virus, the mask, and the jab, my friends. The Virginia hospital allowed a COVID patient to get ivermectin after court holds it in contempt. Fauquier Hospital asked for order to be purged as son says ill mother received 2 doses of the drug. This is what I was getting at with the whole hospitals that are being exposed here, right? And they had to file a court order to actually be able to give this patient ivermectin. And the hospital said it is complying with the court order. Christopher Davies, the son of the patient, Kathleen Davies, told the Fauquier Times that 2 doses of ivermectin, generally used to treat parasites, were given to the woman at 8:45 p.m. on Monday. The Epoch Times has contacted Fauquier Hospital for comment. It came after Judge James P. Fisher of the 20th District Judicial Court of Virginia signed an order Monday finding the hospital in contempt of court or needlessly interposing requirements that stand in the way of the patient's desired physician administering investigational drugs as part of the Healthcare Decisions Act and the federal and state right to try acts. Okay? Furthermore, given the gravity at hand, the hospital has to pay $10,000 per day, retroactive to the date of the court's injunction order filing. The judge ordered, meaning that each day the hospital does not prescribe ivermectin to Davies, they will have to pay the fine until the ordered relief has been accomplished. Her family had requested the hospital give Davies, who had been on a ventilator since November 3rd, ivermectin to treat her COVID-19 as a last resort to save her life. Excuse me. The Davies family doctor had prescribed ivermectin to the woman, but Fauquier Hospital resisted administering the drug and cited medical, legal, and other concerns. The woman's family took legal action on December 6, filing a complaint to compel the hospital to treat her with the drug. It's a matter of life and death, Christopher Davies told the paper. This is Fauquier Times, by the way. She's on her deathbed. Any kind of negative repercussions from ivermectin are null and void. Okay? And because all treatment options haven't worked, Davies argued that the family should be able to try the drug, right? And so this is so important, my friends. We just showed you that doctor who was forced to not prescribe it after he had given it to the patients and saved them from COVID. Folks, find the people that will prescribe you ivermectin out there in the world. We have that in the show underneath the hot zone on the IndoctriNATION.com. You can find places where you can get on the resource file here where you can find who will prescribe you ivermectin. So please use this resource. Please share. I know many of you have shared this resource with others and have helped them tremendously. So please continue. I don't care if you just cut and paste the part that you want to get to them. As a matter of fact, that's probably best. You don't need to credit me or credit the show. I don't care. Just get them the information, please. Okay? And it's in here on the resource file. So this is great news because and I wanted to say this too. What do you say that will somebody commit? Well, can I get like 10 of you to commit? Let me see. I think this is Judge James Fisher. Okay. 20th Circuit Court Judge. All right. And let me find his information. Can I get about, 10 of you to just say you'll call his office and just say, hey, thank you. Thank you for your decision. You saved more lives than you probably realize. Can we just commit to calling and saying thank you to this guy? Yes, she's yeah. Let me finish that. She did live. That would be a great end to the story, right? So let me see. It doesn't say, but this was just December 14th. Okay, they just decided it. I believe I think she's only had one dose so far. So we will follow up. Okay, because they had to take legal action December 6th, and I believe he just did it today. So she's probably only had one dose, right? So yes, thank you, Mimi. Thank you, guys. Lucia, thank you. Thank you, Azera. And let me do this. Let me find that, or if somebody can find that and drop his contact in the chat, that would be helpful because I haven't found it easily. So will you guys find James Fisher, please, and let's hit him up and thank him for his decision of common sense and humanity. Okay, folks, this is big. This is really big.
1.
This is. Let me get us to the spot. Okay. Let me get us there.
Or diabetes or chemotherapy.
Okay. This is the House Subcommittee on COVID-19. Okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to hear from Jim Jordan. So let's listen in. This is going to be good. Her sound goes out for just a moment, but she'll be back.
I was muted, sorry. But so not just autos, but also clothing, textiles, so many different products. And if we want to think about active pharmaceutical ingredients important for diabetes or chemotherapy, many of these come from China. And so China is really quick to move to lockdowns because their vaccines are not super effective. We saw the port lockdowns that caused major shipping disruptions globally, but including for the United States. So the normal time for shipments to get to the United States from China is 40 days by sea. And in the fall, it peaked at 73 days. So, that's an extra 33 days that we have to wait for, say, medical supplies to come when we're sourcing those active pharmaceutical ingredients. So it's really widespread, this impact that it can have on the US economy.
So we could say that vaccinating people around the globe will help mitigate economic disruption in the United States.
Yes, absolutely, including inflation.
Thank you. I yield back, Mr. Chairman.
So you have people saying that they're going to get us with inflation, right? They're going to try to convince us that getting vaccinated will help with inflation. So this is part of the narrative too, because they want to get you out of convenience, or they want to get you financially, and out of health and financial inconvenience. They want to get you on all three. So they're going to tell you that it's going to help inflation and help shipping of things if everyone gets vaccinated. So that's an example of, just pay attention, right?
I thank the gentleman for yielding back. The chair now recognizes Mr. Jordan for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Dr. McCary, how many, let me start with this. What's the budget at CDC? Do you happen to know that?
CDC, it's about $9 billion, sir.
How about at NIAID? What's the budget there?
$6 billion.
$6 billion, $9 billion at CDC, $6 billion NIAID. What about NIH? What's the budget there?
Hold on one sec. I just need to pull the chat over here so that I can drop James Fisher's information. And where is it? Oh, okay, I'll find it. Please continue.
Between 42 and 43 billion.
42 and 43. So I do the quick math. That's like $58 billion. That's annual, right?
Annual.
Okay, and you know how many people work at CDC?
CDC and NIH together, about 30,000 people.
30,000. What about if you add in NIAID? Do you know how many that is? Or they're part of NIH as well, right? So 30. What was that number?
That's right. That's right. 31,000 people between CDC and NIH.
31,000 people spending $58 billion a year. Why hasn't our government done a study on natural immunity?
If I can be honest, Representative Jordan, I don't think they want to know the answer. It would undermine the indiscriminate vaccination policy for every single human being, including extremely low risk people.
So how many Americans have got COVID since we've had this virus? Do you know?
North of half of Americans, based on a Columbia University study that showed 1 in 3 had COVID at the end of last year, a year ago.
So there's certainly a sufficient sample size to do a study, and there's 57 to 58 billion dollars. I mean, you could use some of that money to do a study, and then of course, you know, you got 30-some thousand people who could conceivably do a study on a pretty fundamental question. Now, I think I saw in your opening statement that you're actually doing a study on natural immunity. Is that right?
By the way, just to put things in perspective here, folks. Hold on. Lost you here. Let me pull this up. Just to put things in perspective of the numbers that they're talking about, okay, is the following. Okay. 58 billion. 58 billion, right? Is the budget for the NIH and the CDC, okay? The NIH and the CDC, and underneath the NIH is the NAIDS. That they have 31,000 employees. So if you take their $58 billion budget and you divide it by 31,000 employees, you get $1.87 million per employee. Okay. Now, what's important with that? With that number? Well, I'll tell you. What's important with that number is they don't produce anything. It's not like they're the U.S. Mint and they produce money. It's not like they're the they're not creating anything. They're not a business that creates anything. So where's all that money going? Let's get back to Jordan.
That's right. With private funding, Johns Hopkins, my research team is doing a study.
Okay, so there's no grant money coming from CDC, NIH, nothing like that?
No, sir.
And are any of these 30-some thousand employees helping you with your study?
No, sir.
Now, other countries, if I understand, I think this was in your opening statement as well, other countries have done this study. Is that correct?
Most of our learnings come from Israel and other countries. Yes, sir.
And what have they found? Let's start with the Israel study. If you could just refresh my memory. What did Israel find?
The Israel study is the largest study done worldwide, and it found that natural immunity adjusted for age and comorbidity is 27 times more effective than vaccinated immunity. And they just put out on December 5th another study, follow-up study, again affirming similar results, that natural immunity is stronger than vaccinated immunity.
But are the scientists in our government at CDC and NIH, they don't account for that? They don't talk about that? What do they say about that study?
They never talk about it unless asked, but I would say that they are doing worse than being absent on the topic. They are undermining natural immunity through 2 studies that the CDC did that are so flawed, that are so poorly put together. Honestly, they would not qualify for a 7th grade science fair. The results cannot be derived from the data. And it's a disgrace that those 2 studies were put out because it undermines the larger body of science.
So they won't talk about international studies that conclude that natural immunity is 27 times better than the vaccine, but they will do some bogus, in your words, some 7th grade science experiment studies using some of those 33,000 employees and using some of that $58 billion of the American taxpayer money. They will do that. Is that fair?
That's fair. I will say their intention is noble, but just very paternalistic. That is, they believe, and from private conversations, that if they acknowledge natural immunity, some people may avoid vaccination and think, I'll just get the infection. We don't want people to do that, but we can be honest with the data and encourage vaccination at the same time.
I think the American people, particularly the ones paying, this is their money, they expect honesty and transparency from our government. They don't expect to be deceived. So, I mean, this is what gets me. We can spend money. Some of that $58 billion and some of the resources at NIH and CDC can be used to fund gain of function research and give a grant to EcoHealth, who then sends some of that money to a lab in Wuhan, China. That's just fine, but we can't find any resources to deal with a fundamental question about natural immunity, and so much so that you have to go out and get private funding to do it yourself.
That's right. The NIH spent twice as much money on aging research last year, the year of COVID, more than they spent on COVID research.
This would be laughable if it wasn't so serious. And the implications when you think about these mandates and everything else that's happening, what it's doing to our economy, not to mention just being honest with the American people who, after all, it's their money. But yet we have the head guy, Mr. Fauci, Dr. Fauci, saying, I represent science, but he's afraid to actually do the science and do the studies that need to be done to answer this question. And we have to rely on international studies and your private study to get the truth to the American people.
We've subjected 72 million children to intense restrictions for 2 years, yet we don't have the most basic research. We've never had an NIH funded study on masks in kids, and we've never had any information revealed by the CDC on whether or not any healthy child has died of
doctor,
COVID.
it's either they know the answer and don't want the American people, they know the answer and don't want the American people to know, or they do know the answer and are trying to hide it. I mean, it's like they know the answer, or they're not sure the answer, I should say, or they know the answer and are trying to hide it from the American people. It's one of those two.
Thank you. Your time has expired.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
This is this gentleman. His name is Dr. Marty Makary. Okay, and he's well published. He's published over 250 scientific articles on the redesign of healthcare, medical innovation, and health equity. He's been elected to the National Academy of Medicine as editor-in-chief of MedPage Today. He has written for the Washington Post, Wall Street Journal, New York Times, and USA Today. In our world, that doesn't add credibility to him, okay, because we know that those organizations are quite corrupt because they've been perpetuating this whole story from the get-go, right? But the fact of the matter is that where he does have credibility is obviously in his respect within the establishment right now, and that he's willing to step outside of that establishment to speak truth to humanity, right? I had to move that a little bit. So at any rate, so this is Dr. Marty Makary, and we have his information in the show notes there for you folks if you want to read more about him. And thank you to Jim Jordan, who is still putting up a good fight amidst the madness there, and yet we still need to continue to do whatever we can to get the word out about this absolute absurd situation we find ourselves in. I'm only going to show this man for just a minute and a half, just because you need to hear what other nonsense he is spewing. Here we go.
Earlier, it's been a year to the day since vaccines first came out, but it's also well more than a year into this pandemic. And we were looking at the death toll in the first 9 months of the pandemic, from the first death on February 29th, 2020, to 9 months later, 269,000 deaths, a little bit more. And in the last 9 months, very close to that, 255,000. And those are 9 months in which the vaccine, a highly effective vaccine, has been available and free and distributed around the country. Why hasn't it gotten any better in terms of the overall death? Available and free.
First 9 months, 269,500. Last 9 months, 255,000. Obviously, these vaccines don't work, but let's hear what Dr. Fauci has to say.
And distributed around the country. Why hasn't it gotten any better in terms of the overall death toll? And does it surprise you?
And well, it doesn't, because there are two things that are converging here, Jim. One is we're dealing with Delta. We didn't have Delta a year ago. We're dealing with a much more formidable virus.
Do you see how agreeable the CNN sloths are? Okay? He's not going to press him anymore. He's edifying Dr. Fauci in front of humanity, okay? And this
didn't have Delta a year ago. We're dealing with a much more formidable virus in every respect. Superimposed upon that, if we had optimally implemented our vaccine program, those numbers would have been down. Those are, many of them, not all of them, many of them are unnecessary deaths, because we have up to 60 million people in this country who are eligible to be vaccinated who have not gotten vaccinated. We've got to be doing better.
And bobblehead again.
Than that, if we really want to get this thing over.
Remember, the people who paid for this man's suit, his pharma, his hair, his makeup, his car, his house, 30 to 40% of everything he owns was paid for by Big Pharma. So you're going to get a bobblehead, okay, with everything this jackass says.
With.
Dr. Paul Offit, who I know you know, he's on the FDA Advisor Committee. He was on the show last week, and he made earlier.
Sorry, that went back. But Rand Paul, he's going to give him an opportunity to bash Rand Paul, who Fauci has lied to in Congress.
Every respect. Superimposed upon that, if we had optimally implemented our vaccine program, those numbers would have been down. Those are, many of them, not all of them, many of them are unnecessary deaths, because we have up to 60 million people in this country who are eligible to be vaccinated who have not gotten vaccinated. We've got to be doing better than that if we really want to get this thing over with.
Dr. Paul Offit, who I know you know, he's on the FDA Advisor Committee. He was on the show last week, and he made earlier.
Unfortunately, we're not going to catch that part. What he has to say about Paul, but he's going to discredit him. So not a big deal. Here's the airline pilots and what they're saying.
What comes next? And here's what comes next for all of the passengers listening. If you enjoy travel and you don't want to be vaccinated, listen closely. Okay, there's a bill on the table, HR 4980, that says any person who will fly out of or into a airport inside the United States or in one of its territories will have to be vaccinated. That's what's on the line. So we are the tip of the iceberg. The passengers are next. And so I'm reaching out to everyone. And this is, Customs and Border Patrol, teachers, rental car employees, truckers, air traffic controllers, airline pilots, flight attendants, health personnel. Like, if you guys want to push back, join us at usfreedomflyers.org, because we are standing against it. We even have people who are vaccinated who are joining us because they want to be able to choose, and they want to be able to choose tomorrow. They don't want to wake up one day and realize, wow, Where did all of my freedoms go?
You know, and it saddens me, Sean, that we have to call you Sean and not use your last name. I'm not sure if Sean is your real name, and that your wife doesn't want to be named, and we don't want to tell who you fly for because you're afraid of retribution. In America, we shouldn't have those things, but we do understand what you're doing. We back you. And by the way, folks, if you don't know what Sean's talking about, this is a House bill that's been floated that Dr. Fauci was asked about on the Sunday shows this past week, and he said that's not off the table. So there may be actually a point where you have to be vaccinated or fly. You need to call your congresspeople or get with Sean's group, the group that he just told you about. Sean's wife, Sean's beautiful daughter, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having us. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, so that's Eric Bolling. Thank you, Eric, for that. And we have some of Eric's links on the resource page as well. And also, folks, usfreedomflyers.org, so you can follow along and find out more information about these patriots that are fighting for their right to choose their own medical information. The link, Christy has put it in the show notes there for us. So let's shift gears, folks. Just a quick note on the jab and on what's going on. Do you see the awareness that's coming? Do you see how the awareness is entering daily consciousness? We have definitely a situation here where honestly, I was talking to 13, 14 years ago. I was talking to people about vaccination, and I was either talking to people who knew it was genocide then, okay, knew it was to dull and dumb down the population because they knew there was thimerosal, mercury in them that is a neurotoxin. There's aluminum in them that is a neurotoxin. There's formaldehyde, which is toxic. There were aborted baby tissue in them, or used to develop them. That there was peanut oil that was used in them, which is why so many people had peanut allergies and have peanut allergies to this day. So I was talking to people then. About what is going on with these jabs then, and some people were aware, but very few. And then there were the people that were like, well, we will do some of them, but not all of them, or they didn't like the schedule. Now, the thing that Trump has talked about is the schedule of the vaccines for the young children. He has said that they should be spread out. I don't think they should exist at all. The human body is an amazing thing. And we were kicking polio well before they came out with the polio vaccine. Those numbers were already on the decline. And look at the sheer number of cancer cases that were developed, that were injected. They injected cancer in the polio vaccine, folks, by the tens of millions. That's something we need to be looking at now too. But look at the public discourse now. We'd go to some place and the download I would get was, don't talk about vaccines, please. Don't talk about this, don't talk about that. Let's just have an enjoyable night. And I'd be like, come on, really? All right, but I'd end up talking about stuff anyway. But this is very, very important that we're now having a public discourse about the jab for COVID. And look at how the jab for COVID is opening up dialogue among people about jabs in general. Right? Right? It's pretty valuable that we're now having this conversation. Okay. All right. So Thank you all for your chats there. And let me get back to the show notes. Let's jump the topic to election audits. And by the way, I'm going a little bit later than I had anticipated. Todd, Cindy, feel free to call in at any time. Happy to go through some of these stories with you. And yeah, so that's, available if you want to come on a little earlier. And or we can come on and we can do a quick dive, and then I can get back to the show notes as well. So I want to give you that opportunity, whatever works for you. The Pima County election hearing finds number of registered voters double the population. What more do we need to see here, folks? What more do we need to see? Huh? What more do we need to see? Hello.
Hi there.
Hey, Cindy. How you doing?
I'm doing wonderful.
Awesome.
Hello to all the Sneds out there.
And hello to you. I'm glad you're calling in because I went a little bit longer than I thought I was going to be going. So
no. Say it ain't so.
I know. I don't know who to blame. I'm
Certainly
trying.
not yourself.
What's that?
Biden, Fauci, Todd said.
Yeah, I'm gonna blame Christy on my long monologue. How about that? I'll blame. Yeah, and
I'm not touching that with a 10-foot pole.
Yeah. So, thoughts, my friends.
Well, we're actually awestruck at what we're seeing on Fox News. It's horribly dynamic looking.
Demonic.
Oh my God. Demonic, yes.
Really?
Your stomach's growling. What is this guy?
Yeah, they got some kind of creature on the Gutfeld show that looks like Beelzebub, or it's got horns and it's really weird.
And it's got a pig nose.
Anyway.
Yeah, but anyway, I digress.
I don't really trust Gutfeld.
No, I don't either.
No.
I don't trust anything on Fox.
Not anybody on Fox.
Yeah.
No, absolutely not. How can you? I mean, they showed their cards on the election.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was a network call. That's it. The network's making the call.
Yep. And by the way, I do think that he's got some decent writers.
Yeah, I mean, he's the number one late night talk show now. You know that?
Right. In terms of, because he's kind of throwing some comedy at it, right?
Right.
So he's got some good writers. Here's the thing. One of the things I always was annoyed by is, back in the day, I submitted some scripts to Saturday Night Live, and I was making movies, and I'm a writer, so I created some pretty cool characters and some pretty funny characters. And I had an agent who was a buddy of mine, and he sent in 7 of his writers, and I was the only one he didn't represent. And he said out of all the 7, he thought mine were the funniest. And I think I did 5 characters. I did like the Nostradamus family, right? And
oh God,
Nostradamus is like the dad of the family, and he's he's foreseeing the future, and he's annoying the rest of the family and the kids and everything. Dad, don't spoil it. That kind of thing. So I did some.
Don't drive this route to school today because we know something's going to happen.
Right, yeah, and you're not going out with that boy, that kind of thing, and so, but at any rate, all these shows, okay, like for example, The Daily Show. Do you know they have 15 writers? 15 writers. So Colbert, Kimmel, all these cats, Kimmel, I think, had 13 or 14 writers, and I knew one of them. And so they have all these writers, and so they come off funny as hell, or they used to, right? But it's because they have all these writers for them. And so at any rate, I know Gutfeld's got probably, I don't know, 4 or 5 writers at least, is my guess, right?
Oh yeah.
And you know, meanwhile, you know, we got you and me, right? So
yeah. So that's why we're
Where's
so funny.
our writers at?
Hey, that's why we're so
exactly.
funny,
we need some writers. So at any rate, yeah. So at any rate, so please continue. I digressed.
Oh well, we were just.
Hey, that's my word.
We were just, you know, noticing our surroundings, and we had it on as a, you know, just background noise as I was looking through some news and listening to you. And
yeah, well, you're tracking the news for the News Unlocks the Map too, so that's your job. You're doing what you're bringing to the Sneds is you've got it. You that's one of your things that you do.
Yeah, it's like opposition research. You know, I even have to watch CNN. It's kind of, I can only take so much of that.
Right.
For my own physical health. But yeah, I watch all these channels. I watch MSNBC and CNBC in the morning for their, you know, because that's where everybody's going for their stock market picks.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh my God, it's just so clear now. You know, I used to think, oh, you know, Kramer probably knows so much, and now I can just see he's such a shill for the shot. It's unbelievable.
Right. Yeah, he was even saying that we should be thrown in camps, didn't he?
Yeah, he was very extreme. And, you know, if you knew how much money he had invested in Pfizer, then you'd understand why.
Right. Right.
Follow the money. It's pretty easy. You know, he does a charitable trust. It's like a hedge fund thing. I mean, he's got a lot of money in it, and so he has to disclose what stocks he's buying for his charitable trust. But it's like the charitable trust of the damned.
Yep.
When you really look at it, you really know. You know, he's really into all this AI and metaverse and all this, you know, so-called cutting edge stuff that basically is just to control humanity. And he has no problem at all being involved with the Chinese Communist Party. Just Chinese companies, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
It's like, wow, when you know, you know. You know, that saying came out basically a few years ago that I heard, you know, where everybody started saying, when you know, you know.
Yeah.
Yes.
And now, wow, do we know?
Yeah.
You know, you can see it. The discernment is so clear when you're awake. It's amazing. It's a different world we're looking at.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's the news is unlocking a lot of the map, or the news is basically kind of verifying what we know about Q.
Absolutely.
You know, and so and the news is also verifying Q by their attempt at the takedown.
Well, I really get heartened when I hear Biden. You know, anything Biden is against, I'm for.
Right.
And anything he's for, I'm against. So when he's, you know, coming out railing on QAnon, you know, he
on the most popular late night show, right?
Well, what used to be, now Gutfeld is number one in that time slot.
You mean ahead of like?
Oh yeah,
the Tonight Show.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, they're pretty clear about what, you know, where Gutfeld stands. They've been pretty proud of him being number one on late night in that slot.
Wow. That's awesome. You know what? I love Gutfeld, if for no other reason than at least he's snuffed out some of that propaganda, right?
Yeah, you know, and even if he's controlled opposition, he's closer to our message.
Yes. I'd rather listen to his propaganda than Fallon's.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, Gutfeld
Because-
will say, he thinks it's still a choice to get vaccinated. I mean, everybody with the rational brain thinks that nobody's, it's never somebody else's wishes when it comes to your health.
Yep.
When it comes to your health, that's your decision. It's your body.
Yep.
Whatever happened to my body, my choice.
Right.
Right. That was a
only
rallying
when you're
cry.
only when you're killing babies,
years.
Todd.
Only when you want to kill something. You know?
Yeah.
But
so
just kind of going along. Just I have to watch all this, stuff that makes me mad and stuff that I have to discern and look at. And I do it as research, and it does unlock the map a lot. Christy and I were talking earlier, and we were talking about, using the show notes, if I can get them earlier, to try to use that vehicle along with, so some of my homework would be done through the show notes. And that I thought that could be used alongside with what I just, what I just see. Like if I watch CNN, MSNBC, CNBC, Fox, ABC, all the networks, once I get, like everyone was saying, over the horizon capability.
Yeah.
That was like said across all platforms. That's a talking point all across platforms. So that, that kind of thing I have to watch out for. And it really helps in my research anyway.
That was a conversation that she and I had a couple of weeks ago. And been meaning to have it with you. And that's why that's why I called you earlier today, because then you can just it can help you focus a little bit on the on what we're going to cover, and also the major stuff that's happening, because it's so easy to get distracted by the things that they're coming at us with, right?
Oh yeah. It'd be a valuable tool.
Yeah.
We'll just have to work out the timing of it. And, like I told her, I said, there's going to be days like today just went haywire. I get a call from my oldest son, and he lets me know that he tested positive for COVID today. So obviously I wanted to do everything I could to help him. And so I ran him a little care package, and, we talked. He stood in the doorway, and I stood on the front porch. I said, I'm not going in for it, but I let him know, some things that I thought, he should do. And anyway, we had a nice conversation, and they're doing all right. He was just,
both have it.
They were, both of them ended up actually having it. My second son had it first, and he just kind of weathered through it. But then Luke got it, and he has asthma. So he was a little bit higher risk, and he was having a hard time breathing and stuff. And so he did go to the doctor, and they did say that the doctor mentioned that if he's not feeling better by Friday, they'll give him monoclonal antibodies. And
really,
I was pretty shocked in this state that we live in that would even be mentioned.
Yeah.
Wow.
Sure.
Wow. I mean, that's impressive, buddy.
We're in Illinois.
I know.
It's California 2.0.
Yeah. Exactly.
For our taxes are higher.
Yeah. And I told you I did relate that story when we were playing basketball over the weekend out, and that guy approached us, and this guy approached my two sons and I, and just out of nowhere, and asked if he could count on our vote for Pritzker. And I started laughing so hard I couldn't talk. And he said, well, I can see by your reaction, I said, no, I'm not being disrespectful to you, but I wouldn't vote for him. And he said, we were, it wasn't like, I said, threw rotten eggs at him and said, get off my property.
It wasn't your property.
Well, it was over at my ex-wife's house. She has a basketball hoop. So anyway,
it's kind of your property.
Well, it used to be.
Used to be.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
That's the way it goes. You kiss it goodbye.
So you need to get the antibodies fast, don't you? in order for it to be?
Well,
isn't there a time issue there?
He's feeling better now. They both had a couple days where they felt, it's kind of like when you do with the flu, you get it and you're like, oh, this, the chills, the fever. Then they lost the sense of smell and taste. And they pretty much knew at that point. But my youngest son said he went and got a test because he didn't want to be around all the people at work and everything. And I said, whatever, And he said that he tested negative, and he knows he had it because he had all the symptoms. Well, then he got tested again today along with Luke, and they both tested positive.
Wow.
So, and he's feeling fine. He said he could go play basketball today if he wanted.
Wow.
But that he tests positive. So it's right. Really, how it is. It's just,
and it could be a false positive.
Well, yeah. What do they need right now if they want a scared population? They need a tidal wave of COVID, right?
Yeah. Amber, that's why the cycles are 35 to 45 on the PCR test versus for the vaccinated, they do it down to 25. Amber Taylor said, my mom just got the monoclonal antibodies when she went to the hospital last week, and she was released in 2 days. She has heart disease as well as COPD and is still a smoker, and she walked out fine. Amy says, I heard that the antibodies will erase and forget you had COVID, so you're more likely to get it again. I have not researched the monoclonal antibodies enough. But
I can honestly say that I know it is a treatment, but I don't know the long-term effects.
Yeah.
Just like they said, just like Jim Jordan said, we don't know the facts of, what happens after other than the studies done in Israel, because our CDC and NIAID don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
Which should be an eye-opener, Dave. It should be, that video should be shown to everyone. They should be digging in right now and not doing studies on aging, and put some other things to the back burner, guys, and work on what's caused a worldwide shutdown for 2 years. You idiots.
And God forbid, those it's crazy that 58 billion isn't being used to because it doesn't serve them, and that's what he said. That was his opening thing. Was why haven't they done this? And he says because it doesn't serve their narrative.
Right.
Yeah, unbelievable.
His numbers, he's talking about 60 million unvaccinated. Well, if there's 360 million in the country, and we still have the same number of deaths, and it's not all unvaccinated that are dying, then your jabs still don't work.
Yep.
Any way you look at it, and the more you poke a bug, the more the more they change and the more they develop. So you remember back in the day when they came out with antibiotics. I mean, I wasn't around then, but I remember my doctor explicitly looking at me and saying, Todd, if I give you a 10-day supply of this antibiotics, don't take it for 3 days, feel better, and stop. Because if you do that, the bug can change and morph, and that's where you get staph infections. You get the super bugs.
Right.
You have to take it all the way out. And so if you have a jab that only does half its job, then what are you doing, Dave?
Right.
You're causing that to have change and morph into everything on earth is devised and made to survive. And that's why, that's why if COVID was fatal to everyone who got it, it would be gone immediately because it wouldn't have a host.
Yeah.
It can't kill the host. It's like those little remoras that follow sharks around, live in their mouths and clean their mouths and everything.
Right.
When the shark dies, so do the remoras because they don't have a host.
That's why you can't kill your host.
Right. And so that's why you always see viruses, when they mutate, they usually get more, easily passed, more transmissible, but less fatal.
Mm-hmm.
Because in nature, the bug wants to survive also.
Hey, Christy says monoclonal antibodies, also known as Moab. That's right. We came across that the other night, I think. Interesting.
It's a Moab. Good.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, that's kind of where, again, it's got to reach into everybody's life, and it's got to affect everyone. And hopefully people are seeing enough of this and hearing enough of this information. Maybe somebody that's not a big Jim Jordan fan actually saw the video and went, "Oh, that makes sense."
Yep.
It's an awakening process, and I definitely think it's going. And we've had a school awakening to the indoctrination with CRT. We're having, I believe, everybody's talking about this new variant that only one person supposedly has died from, and that's not even confirmed because they said he had it when he passed.
Yep.
So it's almost like the motorcycle accident kid, that died in the accident, and then they tested him for COVID, and he had it, and he's a COVID death.
Yep.
So, but you can see the lockdown and the mass jab is the end game, and it's up to us not to let them lock us down again. That's our next biggest fight.
Yep, 1,356, Sherry. Beautiful humans in the Sned Shed tonight. They're coming after us. What are we going to do about it? And we need to protect ourselves and protect and make sure that we stay safe through this show. David must watch the video of Dr. Nagasi going over the Pfizer court-ordered PDF. Happy Wendy, will you send that to me, davesned@gmail.com, please? So did anything, by the way, while we're on the I was on the election, I just want to show this quick video, and then we'll get off the election. I also want to get any take you have on it, but just to share this video of Pima County on the heels of what I already showed you. Let me pull that up right now. Here we go.
My fellow veterans out there, know how much American blood and treasure was spent for us just to become our own country, to be able to do what we're doing now, and how much blood and treasure was spent overseas helping other countries be free and giving a woman the right to vote for the very first time, risking their lives, standing in line to get their finger on ink to go vote. And our American troops had to protect that voting line when they were standing there to vote. How many of these troopers came back in a box or maimed? So everybody wants to say, well, it's going to cost too much money to do a hand count vote. It's going to cost too much money to have in-person voting. How much is the cost of freedom? That cost has already been spent and paid for by the blood of patriots. Eli, my fellow veterans out there, know.
There you go. That's pretty amazing right there. Breaking it down for us. How much is the cost of freedom? How much is the price of freedom, and is it worth it? I think it's worth it. Pretty damn worth it. What did you come up with today? Any dives that you want to do, or deltas?
Well, we went over the deltas for the 14th yesterday a little bit. They were, I think, on face value, just reading those was fine. Digging into them wasn't really necessary. I think the message has been right in front of us right there.
Yeah.
But I looked at Pompeo on his last two tweets. and what they did, Dave, is they took us right back to the same place that we were on, I believe it was Thursday of last week. Let me see here. It's just crazy. You know, how many times we go back, you know, if we hit a certain subject, how many times it takes us right back to the same drop, you know, out of 5,000 drops. And the drop was, Dave, and I'm just going to skip all of the steps to get to it in order just, but the drop number is 3431. And 3430 right next door is also a piece of it. And I think just going here, you know, I could take us all through the blue and we could read everything, but just for briefness right now, this is where it led.
Wow.
And
Maxwell, and that's the head of GQ, I think, magazine.
Yeah, and notice the Q in white and the G
GQ.
is black.
Yep.
The dark to light.
Yep.
Yeah.
We were there, what, a week ago?
Yep. And then it shows with the Rothschilds.
Green means go.
And then I posted something with Steve Jobs's widow. She's the controlling interest in the Atlantic. And the Atlantic came out with an article about, you know, human trafficking isn't as big a deal as
right.
You know, they're trying to get in front of it. But it was a picture of Maxwell and Steve Jobs' ex-wife or widow, I'm sorry. And it's just like, you know, the connections are all there. It's just, it's so easy to see now. And I think Q is actually getting to the point where he's just basically telling us.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, because 3430 is the Great Awakening. That's all it says.
Yeah.
You know, and the next picture is Ghislaine, who's still, you know, a big thing in the, I guess, did they pause the trial for the holidays or something? What happened? Was that, I'm not up to speed completely why it's not going on. I know that one of the attorneys had a medical issue, but I don't know why it hasn't continued.
It's a good question. Let me see. This is the Sun. Yeah, it's the story out of the Sun, which is propaganda, is Prince Andrew's asking for it to be thrown out.
Well, geez, if he asks, I guess you got to do it, right?
Yeah, exactly. And so, you know, they're going to propagandize this. But no update. And then, yeah. So the prosecution rested, right? Supposedly,
yes.
Right? And so now it goes to the defense, right?
Yes. And man, that's the quietest big name trial ever, isn't it?
Yep, and I can't believe the prosecution rested. That's the big scandal here, right? Because we haven't heard enough about it. And the defense begins on Thursday, Christy says.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. So very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, I went through Huma's stuff. She only tweeted once today, and really, I didn't think it was anything huge. I mean, it led to places we've already been, so I'm not going to waste our time with it. On disclose.tv, though, Dave, there was an interesting little piece of information about Jack Dorsey.
Okay.
I don't know if you saw that 12 hours ago.
By the way, 3430, The Great Awakening. That's
right.
And then right after 3430, they drop, look at her with her, look at her with them, look at her with, and it's like, but who is she? It's like if they showed James Alefantis with pictures of all these famous people, it's like, really is John Podesta and Hillary and all these major players, are they saying, hey, let's get a picture with the pizza guy?
Mm-hmm.
Why are they getting pictures with her? What's the connection? Q is trying to tell us the connection. And anybody that you listen to that says, Q is a joke, doesn't understand Q and doesn't understand that even if Q is a joke, even if Q was a psyop by the Black Hats, look at all the information we're getting.
Right.
Just, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, and actually the cool thing about Q is, he's had, the group has put out pictures that are unique to Q.
Yeah, that we haven't seen before.
Yeah, and that's when you're really talking about having some intel.
Hey, Q Chris, yeah, exactly, is saying that the elitist bankers have a meeting in Antarctica this month. Hey, Q Chris, will you send me something on that? That's amazing. Dave Sned at Gmail. What's that, brother?
You couldn't go there. I was going to vacation in Antarctica.
Yeah, that's where we need to go.
Because I love snow and ice and cold.
Yeah. Oh, that's a place to be. That's a place to be if you like penguins.
I love penguins, by the way.
Hey, not to forget about that disclose, Dave. Jack Dorsey just put one word in quotation marks.
Hold on.
So he's giving very cryptic posts also. And a lot of these so-called elites, I think once they've been taken under control, put out that, look at Hanks's tweets, before he went dark. And I know people are going to say, yeah, well, he was at this or that, or he was at the Dole funeral. And, I wasn't there to see it. They can tell me whatever, but I think you're seeing a lot of CGI. You're seeing a lot of doubles. You're seeing a lot. If you remember back when Trump was talking about central casting.
Yeah.
We've shown so many videos of people, where their mouths morph or their necks don't match and their hands go through microphones. I mean, fake news is about the most, in my mind, is one of the most important things that Trump ever said and pinned or coined. Because I think we're seeing a lot of fake news. Like completely fake.
Sorry, I got a little distracted by Uber Eats delivery here.
And Rick Duplantis, yes, it's davesned at gmail.com. What Uber Eats bring you tonight?
A little lentil soup with onions and a little arugula salad and some almond crackers.
Delicious.
I'll see you all later. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, it sounds like it's time to wrap up.
Did Amy make the lentil soup?
It's in a can. It's out of a can. Gotcha. We have very
all
little
organic.
time.
By the way, that was a really good movie.
It is organic, yeah. What's that?
Dave, that was a really good movie, by the way.
What's that?
Lentil.
Wow.
Huh?
Wow.
Come on, man. That's a good one. Come on, Dave.
Barbara. Hey, dude, I haven't heard a Barbara Streisand reference in years.
Oh, God.
Speaking of BS.
Yeah.
I think it was Yentl. Yentl is
Yentl.
Oh, was
yeah.
that
I say
it?
it's not lentil. What the hell are you talking about?
That's what you're supposed to do. Is see, I'm the guy. He's like the main comedian dude,
Okay.
and I'm the one that sets him up.
Okay.
I'm just glad that I prefaced tonight's show with that we don't have any writers.
That goes without saying.
No, we do this on the fly, folks.
Yeah.
Yes, it is vegan. So check this out. So I went to transitory because that was the @Jack.
Yeah.
Right. Put it in gematria just for shits and giggles. Never kill God, which, by the way, that's a Jewish. Never kill God. Rudolf Steiner warned us in 1917 that they would inoculate the population in an attempt to keep us from reaching a spiritual connection with our Creator. So never kill God, and yet that's what is happening as we speak. Greatest translator, Satan, pure nudism. That's just weird. Kid by the side of the road.
Whoa.
Again, these can be manipulated, obviously. Whoa, Wallace, okay, which we just saw Chris Wallace shift over to CNN. Kentucky Fried Chicken, Zayn, I am the help you need, God of the Aquarius of age. The Magnificence of 3, 6, and 9. The number of God of the earth. So, and then we'll go to English. Jesus H. Christ.
Wow.
Vatican's Address 120. The Words of God, God's Birthday Code, John F. Kennedy Jr., Math Code God is Here, Social Distancing, the Jesus Coding. Winged Fire Dragon, Winged Sun Disk, Mark Zuckerberg, Comic Serpent, I Have the Grace of God. Very interesting.
Yeah.
And then Vatican, if we took Vatican to 120 in the drops, and 12, let's see if anything pops up. 120, post negative Democrat news. Why is there a terrorist attack or a false flag? Do you believe in coincidences? They think you are stupid, puppets without power. They want your guns. Why? No power left. Who funds ISIS? What email published by WikiLeaks connects Saudi Arabia, Qatar to ISIS? Was HRC connected? Why is this relevant? Yes, she was. Do most people investigate for themselves or simply follow? This goes to my monologue from tonight, which is in part 1. Why is MSM so hostile towards POTUS? Who controls the MSM? Why do they push a particular topic? Who sets the narrative for the day?
Well, that's what we were just talking about, when they get a buzzword, when it's all across all networks, that's when I take notice. Over the horizon was everybody's talking point. Over the horizon capabilities. Well, we saw what the over the horizon capabilities was. They blew up their own, people that helped us in Afghanistan. That nice family that actually was working with us.
Yes.
So that doesn't really prove a very good over the horizon capability, does it?
Right. And it ends with Fantasyland, right? Mm-hmm. military intelligence. Now think why Antifa plays right into the plan. Always ahead. Good guys are winning. Of course, this was October 30th, 2017.
Right, when Antifa was on the tips of everyone's mouth, right?
Yep. Nobody knew about Antifa back then. Military intelligence referenced above is the absolute biggest inside drop this board will ever receive. Folks, if you don't think that we've been given a gift with Q of information, then you just haven't read enough of it to know.
Well, I think if you haven't taken the journey with us, it's hard to catch up in this class.
Yeah.
You know, because you'll never, it won't make sense.
4,953 drops.
Forwards
and backwards.
4953, and then knowing it goes forwards, backwards, and then it interconnects through timestamps, deltas, and news unlocks the map. It's hard to get anyone to comprehend how to navigate that map unless they've been in this class for a bit.
Right. Yeah.
You know, because if you just read them, you'd be like, wow, that's a lot of information. But, you know, as the naysayers say, well, none of that, you know, from post one, none of that's come true.
Right. Right.
So how stupid are you for reading it? I guess I'm really stupid.
So, you know, so you went into, transitory, very odd. Like, what's Jack saying? His last post was, it was a trap.
Yes. Transitory is the word that when the Federal Reserve people were in front of Congress and they were being questioned, they wanted to remove the word transitory because everyone at one point was saying transitory as a talking point, that inflation is going to be transitory. Well, and by saying transitory, they were also giving it an amount of time that it was going to be around. Well, now everybody can back out and see the picture, and it's not going to be transitory. It's going to be well with us until 2022 by everyone's account.
Yeah. And
maybe even longer, because these problems that they're creating are not going to fix themselves, and nobody's doing the right things to fix it.
Yeah.
You know, you don't throw more trillions of dollars, you know, as gasoline on this inflation. It's the exact opposite thing you should do.
Yeah.
The Fed should tighten now, big time.
Well, how interesting that we have this word transitory, which was the talking point, just like you were saying, over the horizon.
Yep.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then we were led through Gematria into Vatican's Address 120, which was the second one.
Yep.
So we go into the Q drops of 120. And it's talking about who controls the MSM, why each and every day is the MSM pushing a particular topic. Coordinated, who sets a narrative. Transitory. Right. Transitory.
That was it.
Nailed it.
That was the buzzword.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think this is also, you know, the reason why other things, you know, I believe that things have been delayed, that, you know, I don't think we've been exposed to everything that we need to be exposed to yet. And what I mean by that is I'm still seeing all of the human trafficking and the sexual misconduct of children, the pedophilia. I'm seeing that just blowing off the page. Last night I mentioned the three things, you know, with the Griffin guy from CNN, the going back and talking about the Boy Scouts of America having funding to pay their victims.
Yep.
And also the case of the doctor that was USA Gymnastics. Those were the three big main topics that were, you know, back to back mentioned on mainstream media, and they all dealt with child or young adult sex abuse.
Yeah.
And then if you want to have a little more confirmation of that, Dave, you can go to Donald Trump Jr. on Twitter, and I think he's carrying the ball also on this.
Hey, let me go to that in a second, but I wanted to bring up transitory in the news because Jack said transitory. 2 days ago, Biden seemed set on making transitory inflation last. El Arian says Fed use of transitory to describe inflation was its worst call ever, which they've been using.
That Muhammad Al Arian is one of the most brilliant minds when it comes to the bonds and what it means worldwide. He's very, very intelligent. Muhammad Al Nigerian or Muhammad Al Arian.
Cool.
Yeah, he was a big go-to for me when I had money in the stock market.
Nice.
When he said something, it was like, when he speaks, people listen.
Right. Like Schwab.
E.F. Hutton.
E.F. Hutton, that's it. Yeah. The transitory inflation question is coming for the ECB. So you see all these uses of transitory, and here Jack mentions it and sends us into the thing which explains how they build the narrative.
And it really is crazy how we circle back, not to use somebody else's line that we don't like, but how it all includes what we just talked about. It was a mainstream media talking point, and they're backing off of it. Actually, Janet Yellen and the Federal Reserve Chairman, everyone said we should back away from that term.
Yep. But it took them, what would you say, like a week before they did?
Or it's more than that.
2 weeks, 3 weeks?
It was probably 2 months.
Yeah. So
because that was a major thing. He was, Biden was saying, "Oh, it's just going to be a short time. It's not going to be here. I'm going to fix the ports," which, I made a post on Facebook a while back. I said, Biden lies about the ports being 40% more successful at unloading ships. And the funny thing is that we have software. We can see the ships, and the numbers are exactly the same as they were 2 months ago. There's no change. The problem is not being solved. So, they want to lock in the inflation. And I think that's why they got rid of transitory. And I think that's also why Jack, as a white hat controlled puppet, would post that as a message to us that it's not transitory.
Right. I'm at DJT Jr.
Yeah, just his last 2 posts alone.
Go ahead.
Well, if you look, there you have Mr. Griffin, the CNN guy, the CNN producer who has been already arrested and has been fired by CNN. And you can see how buddy they were with Cuomo. And also, along with the Cuomo news today, his father has to return the $5.1 million he got for the book deal.
Yeah.
That's big. And he only has 30 days to return it. So you think maybe he spent it?
Yeah. This is, it's unbelievable that he has to return that. That's so awesome. So epic.
Yeah. Isn't that great?
Thought we had that in the show notes.
It says former Chris Cuomo producer trained girls as young as 7 in sexual subservience court docs.
This is unbelievable.
So do you think that they're trying to shine the light on this this epidemic of pedophilia?
Yeah.
And then you can scroll down one post, Dave. And now look at this gentleman.
Wow.
And this is from Sean Davis. He's really good.
Oh my
says,
God.
While this county's government school board was obsessing over how to force mask children over parents' objections, The county's 2020 elementary school teacher of the year was allegedly raping children. So do you think that there is light being shined on this? When I mean, to me, that's the clearest thing that's unraveling right now, and that's why they have to, use weather weapons and weather warfare against us to change the narrative, because there's nothing but human sex trafficking, pedophilia, and all this depravity coming out.
9 counts of aggravated sexual battery, especially aggravated sexual exploitation of a child. 8 counts of rape. 8. Incest. And 8 counts of rape of a child. Jesus. He was placed on unpaid leave after his arrest.
Yeah.
Wow. He was named FES Elementary School Teacher of the Year at WCS's annual Employee of the Year celebration in 2020. However, he has a history of sexual harassment claims against him dating back to 2014. What does that tell you about the people who voted for him and the people who absolutely emboldened him and gaslit him? He was reassigned.
He was a good little boy under control, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Doing exactly what they wanted him to do.
Wow. He was previously an assistant principal at Heritage Middle and Bethesda Elementary Schools and taught at Chapman's Retreat Elementary School. He's being held on $200,000 bond in the Maury County Jail. Where is this?
Where's the county?
Yeah.
In
Columbia.
Bethesda's Maryland, but that's a previous.
Franklin, Tennessee.
Wow.
So it's Tennessee. So we need a state when they come in with these things, right? Because there's so many towns that are named, but this is Tennessee, right? Franklin, where I used to have, my mom used to live in Franklin. My family used to live in Spring Hill, my sister and her family. Wow. So, yeah, you're right, Todd. I mean, you guys want some good news, right? This could get you down if you look at it one way, couldn't it? But it could also pump you up if you're looking at it another way. Look what's being exposed. This stuff wasn't being exposed many years ago.
No, and they're still running commercials in Springfield talking about human trafficking on the radio.
Is that right?
Yep.
Wow. And Chelsea May asks a great question. Who votes for Teacher of the Year? Sneds, can you find out? Somebody want to dig on that and look for Franklin, Tennessee. Look at this particular Franklin, Tennessee. You can even look up the Williamson Herald. Can you find out? They've got an email too. I'm going to put it in the chat. Well, a few of you just grab this and go with it and see if you can find out who votes for the Teacher of the Year here. See if we can't find. I just dropped it. Who wants to check on that? But that's a great question, because who votes on it? Because I'm thinking, if it's granted to them by the school board, we need to be looking closer at that school board, right? If it's the teachers, we need to be looking closer at the other teachers. Normally, I think other teachers do vote, Lori. Yes, I agree. But let's double check and make sure. Mark says that Project Veritas is coming out with a big story tomorrow.
Good to hear. Well, you talk about a warrior.
O'Keefe, amazing.
Yeah, getting your door kicked in and getting treated like he did, and still, he's a dog with a bone. I love that guy.
He basically, James O'Keefe basically lost his office twice this year with a flood damage, and and then they basically bashed down his door and took stuff from him and his reporters and the office, and he's still rolling. No stopping him. No slowing him down.
No. In fact, I think, that might be part of the awakening process also, because there's plenty of people that didn't know who James O'Keefe was, that we shared videos, and, there's plenty of people. It's not like he's an unknown quantity.
Right.
Everybody who's paying attention at all knows who James O'Keefe is.
Yeah.
Even more than Dave Snedeker, maybe, possibly.
Just a bit.
I don't know.
Well, I haven't danced to Thriller, so maybe I need to throw on a leather jacket and do some dancing, and maybe I can compete with James O'Keefe. Hey, Deanna asks, did Todd's friend win, the one we voted for?
We find out the 17th, I believe, which was a really good date. Actually,
dude, it's taken them longer to count votes than Arizona.
Hey, I started asking the day after they closed, and I got no response that to when the results were going to come out. But then I believe that it was the 17th that they're going to have like a show and it's going to be on TV and everything. But I'll have to get that info and find out for sure. But yes, and thank you for all that voted. I know we did nothing but help, and I think she was the best candidate as I looked at all the other ones. So hopefully we pushed her across the line.
The reason why we have to find out who voted for the Teacher of the Year is because we got to see if Dominion's involved.
That damn Soros.
Yeah. Yeah.
And over the course of the last couple of months, and I'd have to say in the last couple of weeks in particular, Soros has been on the griddle as far as the Q movement goes. He's been pointed out many times. The special place.
Yeah. Yep.
So I still, I hold true that this information is that we're getting is unbelievable, irrefutable, and like you said, if it's a if it's a black hat operation, I don't see what the benefit would be to actually putting us all in this mindset
and give us all this information.
I don't see, because I think the easiest way for the cabal to have done this would have just been to have Hillary serve out her 8 years and destroy us. I think they could have done anything they wanted to us. I think their plans were by the reaction of the people involved to Trump being president, and then marching out and saying he's going to give back the power to the people with the military standing behind him, and then going around the world and having all the capitulations to him with the evidence that he presented. I think it's irrefutable that he's still in control. But I don't think you could just tell everybody, hey, look what we found. There would have been, it would have been a civil war. Now, is this pretty? Is it? No.
Yeah.
But, you're talking a worldwide event. you're seeing a lot of things happen in other countries that are just despicable. But
yeah,
I still hold true to the fact that I believe the information we've been given, because man, would they have wasted a lot of time doing it like this.
Yeah.
I just don't see. You always say cui bono, who benefits. Well, I don't see how they benefit. They could have easily just done whatever they wanted to do to us.
Yep. They wasted a lot of time. If this doesn't make any sense at all, because if Clinton's in, they got the world by the balls, and they continue on.
They would have escorted in the New World Order lickety split.
Yeah.
One tragic event, one nuclear event, one, maybe even a higher classification of a bug, a virus. They could have done a scare, they could have locked down, and that would have been the New World Order escorted in, and I think we would have seen it by now. And you also wouldn't have the reactions that you're having from people that we know are involved.
Right.
Hillary makes 2 appearances in 1 week. Why? Why would she feel it's necessary to get in front of a camera and read her acceptance speech when nobody cares?
Right.
It's just like, Huma. The only people following Huma are us. That, based on the amount of likes. 80,000.4 followers, 80,000 people, and 13 likes over 6 hours is just all I needed to see.
Yes. Dude, J.K. Rowling, Trump retweeted her as well. War is peace, freedom is slavery, ignorance is strength, which is all Orwell dialogue. The peanist individual who raped you is a woman. She actually came out and called the absurdity of British police logging rapists as women. Police have been criticized for saying they will record rapes by offenders with male genitalia as being committed by a woman if the attacker identifies as a female. Police Scotland said that they would log rapes as being carried out by a woman if the accused person insists, even if they have not legally changed gender. So J.K. Rowling is calling out this bullshit.
That makes sense.
And as a result of what J.K. Rowling has been sharing, she wasn't even invited to an event that they did for Harry Potter. And because of the LGBT wokeness. She says, I've now received so many death threats, I could paper the house with them. And I haven't stopped speaking out. Perhaps, and I'm just throwing this out there, the best way to prove your movement isn't a threat to women. It's to stop stalking, harassing, and threatening us.
But that's not
and they doxed her, dude. They doxed her of where she lives and the whole bit. She's been getting harassed like crazy.
She should have the means to have a security force like the rest of these people that don't care about open borders.
And her family's address was posted. I mean, it's just tragic. Yeah.
Or it could be awakening to the Harry Potter fans.
Yeah, great point. That's a great point, dude.
That hits a demographic, doesn't it?
Oh man, that's a huge demographic.
I mean, wow, what a demographic.
Yeah. Yeah. Of witches.
Yeah.
I mean, we honestly, I mean, you guys probably think I'm crazy, but we didn't introduce our daughter to J.K. Rowling because, you know, it's, even though it's very creative work, it's witchcraft. It's there's a satanic element to it. Now, I think based on what I'm seeing from her that she seems like a good person, but it's just, it has that element that we didn't want her to, you know, grow up with.
Well, it's definitely tiptoeing on the dark side.
Right, exactly. So I'm glad you took us to Donald Trump because of what he's sharing and what we're seeing happening is bringing light to all these things, like you were just saying.
Yep, that's what I'm seeing as a you know, like I always look at the whole map and I zoom out, and you know, as far as the information I gather, I look at the one common theme, and the common theme lately has been all of the abuses of children. It's been above and beyond.
Yeah. So the this is I mean, this is good news when you see this kind of stuff. You're like, oh my God, these teachers and this teacher, and he's, you know, got away with it. And no, they're not getting away with it. We're starting to point the light into this darkness.
Well,
right?
These are wins that we're seeing.
Yeah, they're absolutely. You know, we've got to look at them that way.
And that's the wins are the exposures are wins. And it's topic by topic. You know, it's the courts, it's the election, it's child trafficking, it's our, you know, it goes on and on from subject to some subject. You know, the indoctrination of our children, the exposure of the medical community. Why do you force a jab when you have remedies available?
Yeah.
You know, it's amazing. I mean, I think it's in the totality of the information, and this is an information war.
Yep.
Even though we're not seeing exactly what we want to see happen, you know, as an end result, I still see us making progress to the end result.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm definitely heartened by it.
Yeah, as am I.
And like I said, Dave, I mean, you know, I've done all these drops. I do all the tweets. I do all the timestamps. I do all the deltas. I do everything every day that I can to come up with information to share. But I think sometimes it's just a good idea just to kind of zoom out and say, you know, maybe not get specific on, you know, one certain thing, but look at the whole thing as a total, you know, seeing the whole chessboard.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I feel I'm starting to zoom back out again. And that's why I'm heartened. I mean, I see our little wins and I see our exposures. So that's about all I had to share, brother.
Well, thank you for that. And I wanted to get your take on something that the Sneds shared you may have seen yesterday. And that was they wanted us to check out Scavino's Facebook post, which was pretty interesting.
Oh, the Christmas tree on top of the car?
Yeah.
Yeah, the giant Christmas tree. Yeah, the evergreen.
Yep. The evergreen.
Yeah.
Right? So let me show that. I want to get your take on that and just go down that real quick. It should only take a few minutes, but so basically this is Daniel Scavino's post from yesterday. Now Todd and I don't follow Scavino on Facebook because we most of those comms are timestamp comms.
Right.
So and Facebook doesn't provide a timestamp.
And usually if it's good, somebody will share it anyway, so I don't have to go there.
Exactly. So here's what Scavino posted yesterday. I'm going to take the music off just because I don't want to get hit, but
Right.
they're playing some music. So here we go. So look at this car just cruising along with this huge tree on it, right?
Can't you just see Chevy Chase in there with the
Oh, totally.
Christy Berkeley, or
Christy
whatever.
Brinkley.
Brinkley driving
Yeah.
by.
Hey, get that name right.
Yeah.
Well, you'd remember it. I don't.
And look at the size of that thing on top of that car. Now, the thing about this is that two things. One is Scavino said 11 days. Hold on. 11 days, 3 hours till Christmas. Right? Oh, that's great. I need more. I do not own that music. That is Tina Turner and all rights reserved. And that came on without my wanting it to. And so 11 days, 3 hours till Christmas. So everyone thought, well, maybe
11-3.
This is 11-3.
Uh-huh.
So if you look at Teresa Ann Marie on Twitter, she said 11-3, end of occupation and duration of GC obligation, devolution. President Trump has said on several occasions that we're going to have a good Christmas. It may not be Christmas Day, but soon. And here's the post. The Department of Defense Law of War Manual. And this is 11-3, end of occupation and duration of OC obligations. All right. Or
Yes.
I'm sorry, GC obligations, which is, here, let me see if I can make this bigger. I think I can. There we go. The status of belligerent occupation ends when the conditions for its application are no longer met. Certain GC obligations with respect to occupied territory continue for the duration of the occupation after the general close of military obligations. End of occupation, belligerent occupation ceases when the conditions are no longer met. In particular, as discussed below, the status of belligerent occupation ceases when the invader no longer factually governs the occupied territory, or when a hostile relationship no longer exists between the state of the occupied territory and the occupying power. Belligerent occupation ends when occupying power no longer has effectively placed the occupied territory under its control. For example, an uprising by the local population may prevent the occupying power from actually enforcing its authority over occupied territory. Similarly, the occupying power's expulsion or complete withdrawal from the territory would also suffice because the former occupying power generally would not be able to control sufficiently the occupied territory.
Yep.
Okay. So
I've read that many times.
Yeah. So so this is what we're being. This is when we realized that 11-3 didn't seem to be a date. Okay. That maybe we needed to pay attention to other things, and somebody came along and said, well, 11-3 is also the operation of war manual, right? Okay. And so the application of the GC, Todd, remind me what that is.
Oh, I knew that.
Sneds, what is the GC? Yeah, and we're going to go to Mike. We're going to go to the video length too. Thank you.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's been a while.
Also, 3 trees in that video.
General conditions.
Nancy says something went on at the White House today. General Counsel. I don't think it's General Counsel. I think it's General Command. I think Tracker. I think you're right. I think it's General Command.
General Command, I believe so.
Yeah.
Yes.
So here's something else. And here's that video. Okay, now, wait a minute. What? Dan Scavino reposts tweets of Conan the dog from 11/25/2019. Linwood asks about Conan Hayes. That's my buddy. That's who introduced me to Q, Conan Hayes.
Oh, wow.
He's the one that's working with, say no more.
I know where you're going.
Yeah. But I didn't know Linwood talked about him. I got to find out more about that. Huh. Who is this Conan Hayes that is apparently connected to Joe Flynn and the Flynn family? I know you know about Patrick Byrne. Check this information out, which I just learned. After Fight Back raises $2 million cash bail for Kyle, Byrne and Joe Flynn were making efforts to contact Kyle to tell him Patrick wanted to raise through Byrne's. When the world was going to be done with that much money for Kyle. Where was old Patrick and old Joe when Fight Back was trying to raise a $2 million cash bail for Kyle? Something ain't right here. Well, Conan started being in touch with the Flynn family because Conan was the one that figured out that Comey in the IG report couldn't be searched as Comey. It could only be searched as Corny.
Mm-hmm.
He's also a former professional surfer, and he's an autist. And he's a master. So if Lynn's going after him, that's really making me question Lynn, unless he's just asking questions and trying to figure it all out.
Or throwing a curveball.
Yeah, exactly. And working with them.
Yeah, okay. It's like Flynn saying, oh, this Q is nonsense.
Exactly. Yeah. Yep. Now, they say Scavino's video is 14 seconds, so they go to Q14. But I think it was 15 seconds on mine. So
if I had $1 for every time I went to 14.
Yeah, I know, right? Let's go to both.
I would be a millionaire.
14 is Washington crossing the Delaware, military intelligence, Flynn's background, Admiral Rogers, which was in the last drop we were just at, who asked Trump to run, Antifa, who guards HRC, how is POTUS always 5 steps ahead, and for Soros, what if they engage in domestic terrorism, right? And it's also SCIF, which has to do with the election.
Secure information facility.
Yep. And then 15, 11-3. Right? So it was 15 seconds long, 11-3, Podesta indicted, Huma indicted, okay? Possibly not the dates, but from the Law of War manual, right? The Wizards and Warlocks. We were just talking about witches and warlocks with J.K. Rowling. But these are the good ones.
Those timestamps are relevant too, because I was in the 1100s a lot today, Dave. Look at the 1147 and the 1115.
Right here.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
Wow.
See how that is?
Yep.
That's a 32-second delta.
Yeah.
That may be something to look at too. That 32-second differential. Being right on the 1100 hour. Wow.
1147 is Awan, SCOTUS, Loretta Lynch deal, POTUS tweet, Tarmac, coming soon to a theater near you. Panic in D.C. is the theater. 11:15. Read carefully. Cohen. Trump Tower fire. New York region Trump Tower fire. Then 32, maybe one day, but it cannot go slow. The initial wave will be fast and meaningful. It will send a signal to others immediately, and you'll see the tide turn. Not even the MSM can hide, and rest assured, some will be jailed as deep cover agents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, but there's another thing that we need to talk about here, and then we'll be done with this particular dive that was significant, and that is, well, Barbara was dropping it, and I think she tagged me in it. Barbara Heron, folks. Great intel with Barbara. You cannot go wrong. And Veronica Steer as well. Great snippets that are doing some great
Barbara
stuff.
Barbara and Veronica are killing it.
Yeah. And there's Barbara Sharon. Thank you, Barbara. And
if I wasn't busy doing my own, I'd be watching theirs.
Yeah, right. So let's do let's find out where she's at here on that. And who shared with me? Maybe she didn't share. Here it is, right here. Okay.
11 days.
3 hours. And this is also 25. Drop 25. Proof to begin 11-3.
Mm-hmm.
Only way is the military fully control, save and spread once 11-3 verifies his first marker. So is yesterday a marker? 11-3 on drop 15, as we just saw. 11 days, 3 hours till Christmas. But the one that I'm looking for is the days, and I think Barbara has that. Where is that? And it's the breakdown of the actual days. I think it's like 113 days. Oh, I think it was 365 days from when Q's last drop. Remember, Q's last drop was December 8th a year ago. And I think it has to do with the drop, the 4-year delta. Let me see. No. Snedheads, who would you send that to me if you know what I'm talking about on that, please? Let's see. Kurt Janot's 1517 is irrelevant. 11-3 drop ties into 1516. Yeah, 1517. I think we were just there, weren't we? But it's the timing of it all, and maybe let me see if I can find it in my timeline, because somebody dropped it to me, and I can't remember if it was in Messenger or if it was in, and it was yesterday. Carrie Sprix shared this with me, but we're looking for the tie-in to it. Oh, this is cool. I'm just seeing this for the first time. This is from Anastasia Shields. Many have bled, but never fled. That's what it means to be a Sned.
Wow, that's awesome.
IndoctriNATION.com. Isn't that awesome? Thank you, Anastasia. I missed that.
That is cool.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah, but where is that damn thing? Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
I've heard a lot of what the Anons have said as far as the difference in the Gregorian calendar, and also like how many days it's been since certain events.
Right.
And it's like it's just crazy. I mean, I don't even know how they think of it.
Yeah. Betsy, did you send this to me maybe? Let me see. Darn it. Maybe, let me see if it's Betsy Jones. This is significant. Otherwise, I wouldn't be looking. Was it Mr. Poole? No.
I don't think so. Was it Kim Shady?
I don't think it was either of those that I remember.
Shady does a lot of those older deltas. You know, like it's been this long since it's been 11,300 days since December 7th, 1942. That kind of thing. You know, it's like a delta plus, and I can't comprehend that.
Duda says it's 10 days. Yeah, Duda, it had something to do with that. I think you think Deborah thinks it's Kim Shady. Let's check out Kim Shady. But I think
well, that'd make it the 18th then, right?
Well, it was something to do it would be 10 days from let's see. Scavino posted that yesterday. Yesterday was the 13th. 10 days takes us up to what, 23? Or, something, maybe the +1 takes us up to Christmas Eve. Christmas, it's going to be a good Christmas.
Well, I hope they're talking about this Christmas, Dave.
Yeah, no shit, right?
It feels like something could be popping here.
Q Joe, let me share this with you, folks. I'm sorry. Amy's vision workshops, my friends. She did one tonight, and she's doing one again tomorrow at noon Pacific Standard Time. So this is if you really want to really try to find your way. Focus on your passion, focus on your dream building. She literally has learned how to coach people and help them tap into their dreams and how to get your dreams started. So part of the message tonight is really, and I just dropped it in the chat. But part of the message tonight was take control of our own lives and really, make our own future a reality, right? Don't wait for other people to come along and do it for us. And so I'm dropping that in the chat, her information for tomorrow, and also she's going to have two on Thursday. So, and they're free. They're free vision workshops. So please check them out. You can get a lot out of the vision workshop. And of course, if you want to keep working with her, you can do so as a group or individually. But it's really fantastic work, folks. So please check out the chat. And Q Joe, sorry if that took me a while to see that. So thank you for reminding me. They're free. And she's amazing, and you get to meet my love and get to know her a little bit. And she's really a spectacular human being. If nothing else, you'll enjoy meeting her. So please check that out. It's in the chat. I think it's also on the IndoctriNATION site, so you can find it there. And it's in the IndoctriNATION under Marketplace, and under Market right there, and scroll down and you'll find her. There she is right there. Amazing Life for All, Dream Builder Coaching with Amy Wazorek. Do yourself as a favor, folks. And obviously Patriot Silver. We're sending out a lot of checks, folks. I'd love to do that with you as well. So the Julian Gregorian Duda is talking about, Todd, and this is killing me that I don't have this dialed in, and the Sneds haven't dropped it yet.
Damn it, Sneds.
Yeah, what's the deal, man?
You're not doing our homework for us?
Come on. We need it.
You QAnoners. You QAnoners.
We need some autists out there. Well, my ass hurts.
I'd have to say that my ass hurts too.
And your face is killing me. So
good thing you can't see me.
Okay, Christy just emailed it to me. Christy, you might have dropped that to me. Thank you. God love you. Christy Blackburn, everybody.
Christy, we were almost out of here.
Is bringing it. And by the way,
the Antarctica, yeah.
Yeah, I sent that to you from Christy.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Let's see. Oh, the Antarctica?
Yeah, that's
Cindy Nance Taylor.
Cindy just shared it with me about we talked about it, but
Klaus Schwab and Christine Lagarde turned in a major white hat victory. Now this is Benjamin Fulford. Now Benjamin Fulford, I got to tell you folks, I've been listening to for probably as long as I've been awake. And Benjamin Fulford has been the harbinger of doom and trying to warn the world about what's going on. He's the one that's coming out and saying that they are meeting in Antarctica. I have not read this yet. I will check it out, but I wanted to make you aware of it. And he talks about the cabal, has been talking about the cabal for a very long time. I don't know how much he knows, how much is legit, but next stop Antarctica. Klaus Schwab is his tweet. An important meeting in Antarctica in December. Christine Lagarde. These are two, obviously, Kabbalists who are all about the reset, and they're meeting in Antarctica. So let's keep our eyes peeled. Let's try to find out as much information as we can. Okay.
Lagarde was in disclose.tv today.
Lagarde was?
Yeah.
Really? Okay. All right.
Let me look at it.
Cool.
It was one of the two. It was either Disclose or Breaking 911.
Okay.
I had to put my glasses back on now.
Okay. So Christy Kilburn, this is the Gregorian and Julian. The Julian for 11/3, 11/16 Gregorian, but let's go to 12 Christmas 12/25. It's 12/12/21 on the Julian.
Well, there's your 12/21.
Yep. 12/21.
And Lagarde was on Disclose. And yeah, it's pretty big.
Let me go to that, but let me, it's not what I'm looking for, Christy. Thank you for that. But it was a countdown based on what was going down. And I think, and it had to do with the 10 days of darkness ending on Christmas. I believe it ended on Christmas. Q3459, Chris says, or Craig. Let me see. 3459. Let me drop that in, and then I'll go to Twitter, Todd. Where is it?
My ass still hurts.
Yeah, right. Okay, so Disclose.
Yes.
Disclose TV. And we're looking for
you'll see her ugly mug right there.
Right here.
Yep.
Increased over an inflation profile, which looks like a hump. So it does clearly increased over the last 3 quarters.
No shit.
And we know how painful it is. We know that. You know,
hold on, Todd. Do you think she knows how painful it is?
Oh, I'm sure she's suffering, Dave.
Yeah, I can tell.
The price of petrol? Oh my God.
I can tell with that $300 scarf that she's suffering.
You know, life is more expensive as a result, particularly for those people who have low income and who are more exposed to prices rising, particularly when you fill up the tank.
Yeah.
But we see it as a hump, and a hump eventually declines. And this is
wait a minute, is she teaching a kindergarten class?
What we project for 22, that inflation will decline over the course of 22. And
wow.
When has a central banker ever been right when trying to guess what inflation is going to do? They've never been right, ever. And I don't know if it's on purpose or if it's not, but they've always eased or always tightened at the worst possible time.
Absolutely.
They all suck. They should get out of the game and put the crystal ball away.
Yep. And just so corrupted, so corrupted.
And like you said, Dave, talking to 2-year-olds.
Yeah, there's nothing like being spoken down to.
I wouldn't have known what a hump was if she didn't do the hand gesture. Other than the fact that we're all getting humped, I mean, screwed.
Yeah, exactly. That's what the hump is. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yep. And my hump is sore.
Yeah, my hump is sore too. All right, I'm going to cut you loose, dude. It is definitely you know, I'm gonna look up Veronica Steele and see if I can find that there. And I thought it was well, it could be Barbara and Messenger. Let me check that, and then I'll go to. No, I don't think it is. No. Veronica Steer has some great stuff, and
yeah, really good stuff.
the Sunshine Act is December, right, people? This deadline day for U.S. default is December 15th. Look on the Delta Q364. Now Sunshine Act's SEC day is the same day. This relates to XRP Ripple. That's why I said follow the Ripple case. Watch the water. Research Sunshine Act, XRP, SEC. When will it be analyzed? Dark 10. Right? Dark 10. Okay? On 12/15.
That's manana.
Yeah. Right? And so
and then
possibly
that'll go all the way to Christmas.
Yes.
Woohoo!
And Christmas comes and, you know, everybody's happy.
Yeah.
And it's a good Christmas.
Veronica does great work.
Yep. And this isn't even the one that I'm talking about, but it's in the ballpark of what I'm talking about.
Right.
And prayers for her grandbaby, Owen, please. I don't know who Mimi Walker is, but and let's see if she's got what I'm looking for here. I don't think she does. Imagine you live here and you come home drunk.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Oh, that's good. When Santa got on a keto diet and created a Tinder profile after his divorce.
God.
All right, my friends. Thanks for hanging.
Yeah, it was a good time. Kept it light. Kept it, 40,000 foot view.
Good night, everybody.
And
good night, Cindy.
Yep.
Thank you.
Keep it all together, guys. I think we're winning. Hold the line, and we will see you. Well, Thursday, I have my kids' Christmas program, but I don't know that it's going to carry, too late. So
it shouldn't be that late.
So yeah, I think it starts at 7:30, and
Okay.
so we should be out of there in time for me to make it. So
yeah.
Thursday's our last show until the following Monday, because we've got our Christmas party.
Right.
And
so, yep, that'll be that'll be just fine. That'll be awesome. So I'll probably pop in on Thursday and talk with you guys then.
Awesome.
Good night, everybody.
Thank you, guys. Love you too. Thanks
love you, brother. Love you, Sneds.
So much.
Good night.
See ya.
Good night.
Todd Gedeminski, Cindy Johnson, folks, and so glad to be in this fight with them, on this journey with them, and we're doing some good stuff, folks. One of the things that Betsy shared with me, I want to share with you all, and that is that a lot of tweets lately from various people have been the calm before the storm, the calm before the storm. And WikiLeaks, how fitting it's storming here. Calm before the storm. Calm before the storm. Green Bay women's basketball. The calm before the storm. Calm before the storm. The calm before the storm. Calm before the storm. Look at all these, right? All these different tweets from various outlets. Calm before the storm. And look at the storms we've been having here. Look at the storms we've been having everywhere. Okay, so let's see. So I'm not finding what I was looking for, my friends, unless this is it. No, it's not. But 11.3 verifies his first marker. Oh boy. Anne Rice, speaking of authors, we were talking about J.K. Rowling. Anne Rice, I've gotten the vaccine, painless and simple. Please, people, get the vaccine. My arm is a little bit sore, no other side effects. March 17th, 2021. Anne Rice, who breathed new life into vampires, dies at 80. And that was, what day was that? That was, I don't know what day she died. When did Anne Rice die? Uh, 3 days ago. 3 days ago. And there you have it. And she pushed the vaccine. You know. Coincidence, maybe? I don't know. I doubt it. Be interesting. Ground yourself. Yep, we were talking about this earlier. Walk in the dirt. So, my friends, let's call it tonight. Nobody showed up with that document. I'm sorry that I did not have that for you. But look to tomorrow for a significant possible event. And maybe not. But it's just that, do we need to learn more about the things that are screwing us, the hospitals, the universities? Yeah, I think we could. I think a lot of people could learn a lot more about it. But, maybe this is the timeline. I don't know. Somebody asked earlier, is this suicide weekend possibly? Possibly. We don't know, right? We honestly don't know. And I can't, Robin, I can't do songs though, just because, we'll get slammed. But my friends, we are looking towards a change that we can really feel good about, and we really need to keep our head on a swivel and keep an eye out for the goodness that's happening right now, even just the exposure of the badness, and we'll get to it. We'll get there. I don't know when, but possibly, some of the comms are showing us that it could be soon, but it's all speculation, and I don't want anybody to get their hopes up just to get them dashed. If you didn't see the first part of the show, please check that out, part 1. I love you all. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory are yours now and forever. Amen. I feel like I might have skipped over something on that, but I am tired. I am sore from sitting, and I'm going to cut it here. I love you all, and thank you, Ann. Appreciate you. Oh, the memes. Yes, of course, Rick. I've got to share that before we go because the memes are good. You guys know you have memes at the bottom of every show notes. But here we go. Christmas tree for the unvaccinated. No needles, just balls. I love this one. Nancy Sutherland sent that to me yesterday, and Christy was going to put it in yesterday. This is Fox News with Chris Wallace chasing Homer chasing a CNN truck. Liberal Christmas dinner 2021. Pretty sad, but too realistic. I'm just watching how many laps till they all wake up. Think about it. How many laps are people going to go through before they're like, you know what? This is ridiculous. Come on, do something. Government and media, Omicron. Come on, do something. That's great. Because it's not doing anything. Let's go, Brandon. Nice little ball there. Beginning of press conference, end of press conference. Here's to those of us who will close out 2021 with intact human DNA. To all my pure-blooded brothers and sisters, I love you. Be well. I will see you Thursday night. Then we're going to be off Friday. I might do something Saturday. Just me, just kind of hanging with you. And then we're back Monday, Tuesday of next week, and then off the rest of the week. My friends, please check out Amy's free presentation. It's not a presentation. It's a workshop that you can actually engage in. It's fantastic, and you'll learn 3 of the 10 methods in which people can build their dreams. So please check that out. I just dropped that in the chat. That information, it's a Zoom call tomorrow at noon Pacific Standard Time, 3 Eastern Standard Time, tomorrow at noon. So enjoy. I love you all. Be well, and we'll see you Thursday night.